I never thought I'd be wiping coffee off my face, blinking back both the sting of hot liquid and the shock that my own son, the baby I once rocked to sleep, had thrown it at me in a moment of rage. It was a Tuesday. Ordinary. Boring. I'd just come home from a long shift at the clinic, tired and aching in my bones, the kind of tired only a single mother in her late 40s could understand. Bills were already waiting for me on the counter, and I hadn't even taken off my shoes when I heard his voice. "Ma, we need to talk." He was pacing. That was already a bad sign. Whenever Liam got anxious, or wanted something, he paced. His lanky 22-year-old frame moved like a snake looking for a strike. I noticed the Starbucks cup in his hand, barely touched. I should have known, should have read the signs. "What is it now?" I asked, half weary, half curious. He didn't even sugarcoat it. "Jasmine wants to get away this weekend, like a spa trip. You know she's been stressed. She works hard." Jasmine. That girl, the same girl who wore designer shoes but had no job. The same girl who called me Linda instead of Mum, even after dating Liam for almost 2 years. Who rolled her eyes at everything I said and treated my house like a hotel she forgot to leave. Every time she was around, something went missing, either from my wallet or my peace of mind. I already knew where this was going. "I'm not paying for her to go get her nails done and drink champagne with you," I said flatly, heading toward the fridge to grab something cold, and "Neither is my credit card." Silence. Just the sound of the fridge humming and a slow rising tension behind me. "You don't support me," he muttered. I turned around, eyebrows raised. "Excuse me, you always have something negative to say about her. Always. You didn't even ask how I was doing. You don't care." Now I was annoyed. "I just got home, I'm covered in work and bills, and you want to take a damn spa trip? What about your classes, your job hunt? You still owe me rent for—" Then it happened. The moment that would shatter everything, he snapped. "No one asked you to be broke and bitter," he shouted, and with one violent motion, he flung. So the coffee straight at me. It hit my chest and face. The heat shocked me. The betrayal. That went straight into my soul. I gasped, stumbled back, and nearly slipped. The lid had come off, and dark liquid was dripping down my blouse and soaking into the carpet. And all he did was stand there, breathing hard like I was the villain. "Get out," I whispered, holding my shirt away from my skin. He didn't move. "I said get out!" I screamed, louder than I've ever yelled at him in his life. Liam stood frozen for a second, then stormed out without a word, slamming. The door so hard a picture fell off the wall. I didn't cry at first. I just stood there, heart racing, coffee dripping, wondering how the boy I gave everything to turned into this cold, entitled stranger. But I knew deep down, this wasn't just about coffee. This was about everything I had ignored for years. I didn't sleep that night. The house was too quiet, and every little creak felt louder, heavier, like it was mocking me. My blouse was still soaking in the sink, stained with caramel-colored shame. I kept replaying it in my head, the way Liam's hand moved, how effortlessly. He tossed that coffee like I was nothing but a waitress who messed up his order. But worse than the coffee was the look on his face. There wasn't guilt, there wasn't regret, there was indifference. I checked my phone, no message, no apology, no explanation, just silence. He hadn't come home. I sat on the edge of the couch with a throw blanket clutched around me, remembering the years I fought so hard to raise him right. His father had been gone since Liam was 8. Not dead, just deadbeat. Walked out with a suitcase and a voicemail that said, "This isn't working for me anymore." And from that moment on, it was me and Liam, just us. I worked double shifts, gave up my nursing degree, skipped dinners just so he could eat better. Was that Mom, the one who shows up to every parent-teacher night with tired eyes and a fake smile? And for a while it felt worth it. He was smart, polite, kind, until Jasmine came along. I met her at Liam's college orientation. She was in a short dress that looked more nightclub than classroom. Her smile was plastic perfect, and her nails were the kind you can't afford unless someone's paying for them. She's just a phase, I told myself at first. But she wasn't. She moved in after 6 months, without even asking me. I came home one day and found her stuff all over the guest bathroom. No rent, no groceries, not even a thank you. Just demands. Constant, subtle ones. And Liam? He changed, started skipping classes, lying about money, dipping into my emergency fund like it was his allowance. I confronted him once, told him she was using him. He laughed in my face. "She actually believes in me," he said. "Not like you. You just control me." Control? I wasn't trying to control him. I was trying to protect him. From her, from the world, from himself. The next morning I checked my bank account, and that's when I saw it. A $275 charge at a beauty spa, posted that night, right after he stormed out. My stomach dropped. My credit card was still in my purse. I double-checked. Then I saw the second charge, $82 for Uber Black, and a third. $59.75 at a sushi bar. He didn't just steal my card. He gave it to her. I sat down slowly, the blood rushing out of my face. I tried calling him. Voicemail. I called again. And again. By noon, I stopped trying, because I already knew where he was and who he was with. The worst part wasn't that he used me. It's that he didn't care. Not about the card, not about the coffee, not about me. It was 3 days before he came home. No call, no text. Just the sound of his key turning in the door like nothing happened. Like he hadn't assaulted me, stolen from me, and disappeared. I was in the kitchen, stirring cold coffee. I had no intention of drinking, mostly out of spite. He stepped, in wearing fresh sneakers, holding a bag from some high-end boutique I couldn't even pronounce. I didn't say a word. I just stared. He avoided my eyes. "Hey," he mumbled, dropping the bag like it was nothing. I kept stirring. He scratched the back of his neck. "So I figured we could talk." "About what?" I said calmly, still staring into the coffee. "You know, everything. I was pissed. You were being kinda harsh." "Harsh?" I stood up slowly, not raising my voice. "You threw scolding coffee in my face, stole my credit card, and ghosted me for 3 days. That's not pissed, Liam, that's unhinged." He flinched like a child caught lying, but his ego didn't let him shrink. "You always blow things out of proportion. I just needed some space." "You mean spa space, sushi space, luxury Uber rides for your girlfriend space?" He turned red. "It's not like that. Jasmine needed—" "Needed?" I snapped. "She's not your child, Liam. You are mine. And I'm done being her ATM." He rolled his eyes. "You never liked her. You've been waiting for a reason to hate her." I slammed my hand on the counter, harder than I meant to. "She brings nothing but lies, laziness, and leeching. I don't have to like someone who treats me like I'm disposable in my own home." And that's when it happened. He laughed, not just a chuckle. A full, dismissive, "Who the hell do you think you are?" laugh. That deep, hollow kind that burns through your chest. "You act like you're some kind of saint. You're just mad your life's pathetic, and you can't stand that I finally have someone." Those words cut deeper than any cup of coffee ever could. I didn't even recognize him anymore. I whispered, "You're not the boy I raised." And just like that, he said the one thing that would finish whatever was left of my heart. "Good. Because the boy you raised was broke, bitter, and scared of you." He turned and walked out of the room. I stood there, stunned, throat tight. I couldn't cry. There were no tears left. Just cold. Just silence. He didn't just walk out of the room. He walked out of us. That night I packed his things. Every hoodie, every charger, every shoe he'd left around like I was still the maid. I placed it all in black trash bags and left them by the door. When he came back around midnight, reeking of weed and Jasmine's perfume, I didn't argue. I just pointed. He looked at the bags, then at me. "You serious?" "I'm not kicking you out," I said softly. "I'm letting you go." He didn't beg, didn't cry, just shook his head like I was the crazy one, like I had ruined everything. But the truth, he'd ruined it long before the coffee ever hit my skin. The house felt emptier than it ever had before. Even though Liam had left, or rather been let go, it wasn't peace I felt. It was something heavier, grief. But not the kind you get when someone dies. No, this was worse. It was the grief of watching someone still alive become a stranger you wouldn't recognize in a crowd, and knowing you raised him, He didn't call, he didn't text, and I didn't chase him. I spent the next few days scrubbing the walls, cleaning every surface, like I was trying to erase the memory of his existence. I'd find little things, a sock behind the dryer, a crumpled movie ticket under the couch, and each one would knock the wind out of me. I'd built this home for him. Now, it felt like I was living in a mausoleum. Then she came. It was a Sunday morning. I was still in pajamas, tying back my hair, when the doorbell rang. I knew before I even opened the door that it was her. Jasmine stood there in a white crop top and designer jeans, sunglasses pushed up on her head like a crown. She held a bright pink phone in one hand and a fake smile in the other. "Hi, Linda," she chirped, like this was some casual pop-in. I didn't move. "You're not welcome here." She tilted her head. "I'm just here to talk. Liam's been really upset. He said you overreacted." I crossed my arms. "He assaulted me. Then he stole from me. That's not overreacting. That's boundaries. Something you clearly have no concept of." Her smile flickered. "Look, I get it. You're like old school, protective. But Liam's a grown man. He makes his own choices." "Oh, I know," I said. "And he's made some terrible ones, starting with you." Her face hardened, just for a split second, but it was enough. "I came here to offer peace," she said coldly. "But if you want to keep being a bitter, lonely woman who pushes her only child away, then fine." I took a slow step forward. "Let me be crystal clear, Jasmine. You're a manipulative little parasite who latched onto my son the moment you realized he was naive and desperate for love. You don't work, you don't contribute, and you sure as hell don't love him. You love what he gets from me." And that's when she slipped. She smirked. "Please, do you really think he's the only one I've got on the hook?" My stomach turned. She realized her mistake too late. The smirk vanished. I stepped back. "You're using him." She didn't deny it. "I'd watch that credit score, Linda. You never know what could be sitting in your name," she said, eyes glinting. I slammed the door in her face so hard it rattled the windows. Heart pounding, I rushed to my laptop. I logged into my accounts. My savings was untouched, thank God. But my credit report? That was another story. 2 new accounts, a furniture store and a cell phone plan. Both opened in my name. She hadn't just used Liam, she'd used me. And Liam? He either didn't care or helped her do it. I sat there, staring at the screen, breathing heavy, cold sweat prickling my back. This was more than betrayal, this was identity theft, fraud. But even deeper than that, it was betrayal at the core of my motherhood. I had been replaced by bleach in heels and lashes, and my son handed her the scissors to cut me out. I stared at the credit report until my eyes burned. I'd always paid my bills on time, built my credit slowly, carefully, no fancy vacations, no splurges, just survival and discipline. And now, in a matter of weeks, my name was being dragged through the mud by 2 people I used to feed under my roof. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about dignity. So I did what they never expected. I fought back. The next morning I filed a police report. I brought printed statements, screenshots, everything. The officer, a tired-looking man in his 50s, gave me a sympathetic nod when I laid it all out. I could tell he'd seen this before. Sons lost to girls with pretty faces and empty souls. "We'll need proof they opened these accounts," he said, flipping through the pages. "You willing to press charges?" I didn't even hesitate. Yes. It felt foreign, that word, but it came out strong. Jasmine had used my social security number, probably from a form Liam had access to. That made her the primary suspect, but if he knew, if he helped, he was going down too. I didn't care anymore. They wanted to act like adults. Then they'd face adult consequences. I also froze my credit, contacted the fraud department and got legal aid involved. My lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Brielle, looked over everything with a stone face. "You're not the first, Mother, this has happened." "Too," she said, "but you're one of the few actually standing up for yourself." I nodded, lips pressed together. I was too exhausted for pride. This wasn't about revenge, this was about getting my name back. 3 days later, Liam showed up again. Alone this time. I opened the door but didn't step aside. Mom, can we talk? You can talk from there. He looked tired, hollowed out. There were bags under his eyes, and his usual arrogant posture had crumbled. She left, he said. She took everything. My laptop, my phone, even my sneakers. I said nothing. I checked her messages. She had other guys. She was never real. I let the silence do the talking. He swallowed hard. I didn't know she opened those accounts in your name. I swear to God, Mom, I didn't know. My jaw clenched. But you gave her access. You brought her into my home. You took from me, lied to me, humiliated me. You let her destroy my credit, and you didn't say a damn word. He didn't deny it, just looked at the floor. I've filed a police report, I said flatly. There's a case open. If your name's on anything, you'll be hearing from them. His head snapped up. What? You're turning me in? No, I'm turning in the people who stole from me. If your hands are clean, you have nothing to worry about. But I'm your son. I stared at him, hard. And I was your mother. And you treated me like I was nothing. He looked like he might cry, but I didn't budge. Not this time. He'd cried before, always when things hit rock bottom. Then he'd get comfortable again, and the cycle would start over. No. More second chances, Liam, I said. You want to make this right, start with the police. Start with an apology that isn't just words. Start with a job. And stay the hell out of my life until you remember what it means to be part of it. He didn't argue, just nodded, slowly, as if the weight of his choices had finally landed. I closed the door. For the first time in months, I felt something real, not sadness, not anger, power. I wasn't just a mother. I was a woman reclaiming her damn life. It took exactly 12 days for the police to call me back. Ma'am, the detective said over the phone, we've reviewed the footage from the furniture store. Your name was used, but you weren't the one shopping. We've confirmed it was the girlfriend, Jasmine Monroe. I leaned against the kitchen counter, gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. She was with a young man, he added, matching your son's description. But he didn't sign anything or speak to the clerk. That'll help him. Will there be charges? I asked. He paused. We're preparing an arrest warrant for her. And just like that, I exhaled a breath I'd been holding for weeks. I hung up and stared at the window. The rain was coming down in heavy sheets, tapping against the glass like applause from the universe itself. The girl who had burned down, my relationship with my son, who'd worn my house like a coat she planned to shed, who threw my kindness in the trash, was finally getting what she deserved. But there was one thing still left hanging in the air, Liam. I hadn't spoken to him since the day he came crawling back. He hadn't tried either. Maybe he was ashamed. Maybe he was still trying to figure out who he was without her whispering in his ear. But I wasn't going to chase him. He had to come back on his own. Clean. 2 days later, I got a knock at the door. Not a buzz. Not a bang. A knock. When I opened it, he was standing there, shaved, sober, holding a folded sheet of paper. He didn't speak at first, just handed me the note. I unfolded it slowly, my eyes scanning his handwriting, the same sloppy loops he'd had since 3rd grade. Mom, I gave her everything because I thought love meant proving I could protect her. I didn't realize I was sacrificing the only person who ever protected me. I let you down. I won't ask for forgiveness yet. I'll earn it if I can. Love Liam, I stood there quietly, eyes stinging. When I looked up, he was already crying. For real this time. I started working at the grocery store down on 5th, he said. Night shifts, it's not much, but I wanted you to know. I nodded slowly. I talked to the police, he added. They cleared me. They know I didn't touch the paperwork. Jasmine, she's gone. Last I heard, she ran to Florida. They'll catch her. He rubbed his hands, together nervously. Can I come in? I hesitated, not out of anger, but out of survival. The old me would have opened the door wide and made dinner. The new me needed more than apologies. I'm proud you did the right thing, I said. But healing doesn't happen at the doorstep, Liam. It takes time and proof. He nodded, wiping his eyes. I'll come back when I've earned it, he whispered, and this time he meant it. He turned and walked away slowly, his shoulders less heavy, like he had finally started carrying his own weight. I watched him disappear into the rain. No coffee, no yelling, no lies, just a broken boy trying to fix what he shattered. And for the first time since this all began, I didn't feel broken. I felt free. 3 weeks passed. Quiet. Almost suspiciously so. I focused on reclaiming what Jasmine had nearly destroyed. My credit, my peace, my sense of self. I updated passwords, closed accounts, and started going on morning walks. Not because I had somewhere to be, but because I finally could without worrying about who was ransacking my living room or raiding my purse. Liam didn't show up, but he did something better. He stayed away and kept his promise. Every Friday, like clockwork, I found a small envelope in my mailbox. No return, address, just my name. Inside was always the same thing, a pay stub and a handwritten note. Still working, still trying, still love you. I didn't respond. I didn't know how to. But I saved every one of those notes in a shoebox under my bed. Then, one Sunday morning, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something made me answer. Linda Andrews? Yes? This is Detective Flores, Miami PD. We're following up on an interstate fraud warrant for a Jasmine Monroe. We believe you're the original complainant. My breath caught. In my throat. Yes, that's me. We've taken her into custody. She was found using a different ID, attempting to open a luxury lease under another stolen identity. She's also in possession of multiple credit cards that may match stolen profiles, including yours. My knees buckled and I sat down slowly. Will I need to testify? I asked. Yes, ma'am. There will be a hearing. We're working with your state's department to extradite her. She'll be facing charges in multiple states. I whispered, good. Because it was, not just for me, but for every other person she must have burned along the way. She was a professional, charming, manipulative, dangerous, and she almost got away with it. Later that night, I debated whether to call Liam. Part of me wanted to protect him. The other part knew he deserved to know. When I finally called, he picked up on the first ring. Mom? His voice was hopeful, anxious. She's been arrested, I said softly, in Miami. She used someone else's identity this time. Silence. She's going to face real time, Liam. I figured, he muttered. She messaged me last week, burner number, said she was pregnant. I froze, he added, but I don't believe her. I don't even know if it was real or just another trick. What did you say to her? I told her I didn't care. I told her she could lie to a judge next. There was a quiet strength in his voice, a bitterness, yes, but also maturity, like the weight had finally shifted. I'm sorry, Mom, he added, for all of it. I let her turn me into someone I didn't even recognize. You let yourself, I corrected. Don't give her that much credit. You gave her your soul, and you threw away mine in the process. He didn't argue, he just said, I want to make it up to you. You can't, I said, but you can make sure you never let someone like her near you or your future family, ever again. There was a long pause. I understand. He didn't ask to come back, didn't beg to be forgiven, and that's why for the first time I felt like maybe, just maybe, he was learning. Spring came slowly. The air grew warmer, and for the first time in a long while so did I. Inside, the heaviness that once wrapped itself around my shoulders like a wet coat had finally started to lift. I could breathe again. Really breathe. Without the weight of betrayal pressing into my lungs. Liam kept his distance as I asked. He still sent his notes, still showed me, quietly, steadily, that he was trying. No grand apologies, no begging for a reset. Just the hard, slow work of a son trying to unbreak what he'd shattered. Then, one Sunday morning, I got a knock at the door. Not loud, not frantic, just familiar. When I opened it, there he was. Hair neatly trimmed, a soft nervousness behind his eyes, and in his hand a small rectangular cake box tied with string. I know it's not your birthday, he said, voice shaking, but it's lemon. Your favorite. I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside and let him in. He didn't sit until I sat. He didn't speak until I nodded. He was learning. He placed the box on the table gently. Then he pulled out an envelope. Not a paycheck this time, just a letter. I've been going to therapy, he said. Every week, talking about Dad, about you, about how I lost myself. I raised an eyebrow. He smiled, small and ashamed. I realized Jasmine didn't change me. I was already broken. She just used the cracks. I looked at the envelope. It's a letter to you, not asking for forgiveness, just explaining. I thought maybe if I could tell you everything without trying to win you back, maybe it'd mean more. I slid it into my lap but didn't open it. I miss you, Mom, he said quietly. Not the house, not the help, you. I looked at him, really looked at him. The boy I'd raised had been crushed, but in his place was something else. Not perfect, not fully healed, but growing. Honest. I'm not ready, I said. He nodded. I didn't come to rush you, just to say I'll wait, as long as it takes. And for once he meant it. We sat there a while longer. We didn't eat the cake, we didn't talk about court dates or credit cards, we didn't speak like mother and son. We just sat, two broken people, trying to find something worth saving in the quiet. When he finally stood to leave, I placed my hand on his before he could reach the door. I'm proud of you for facing it, I whispered. That doesn't make it better, but it means something. His eyes watered, but he held it in, just nodded, squeezed my hand, and walked out. As the door clicked behind him, I looked down, at the letter. I didn't open it right away. I made tea. I sat by the window. I watched the wind push the trees like it had somewhere to be. And then, slowly, I opened it. His handwriting was messy, like always. The first line said, I never meant to hurt you, but I know now that doesn't matter. And as I read it, line by line, the bitterness softened. The betrayal didn't vanish, but it became something else, a scar, not an open wound. Pain never fully goes away, but sometimes, just sometimes, it teaches you how to love smarter, how to protect harder, and how to heal, not for them, but for yourself.